let's take a look and chat a little bit about kits at 5 and 6 weeks old. So what do these kits need from you at these age? Well, honestly, they really don't need more than just good care, excellent feeding, and watering. At this time, you should have the nest box out of the cage, because if you don't, it's more of a nuisance than it is anything else. Taking the nest box out gives them more room in the cage. You know, these are getting to be larger rabbits, and the cage is going to become a little bit crowded. They are reaching a time when they could be weaned, and they're definitely approaching the time when you should do that. Typically, I wean rabbits at around 6, maybe 5 weeks of age. I usually do not do it younger than that. I just think that 4th and 5th week are important in their development, and they get really good, strong gut development on the same feed as the mothers. That sets them up well for being able to digest and maintain a good gut flora on their own. So that's what we're going for in these weeks. Everybody being well fed, well watered, kept clean and dry. You can see here I use a drop pan system. So yes, they are creating a lot of waste. You know, this was only cleaned a few days ago. You may need to clean an extra time in the middle of the week, depending if it's really hard to keep up with them. The important thing is, again, that they're clean and dry. The things that kill rabbits, as with all animals, are wet conditions, and especially windy conditions and high winds. You know, cold isn't what kills them. It would be something like too many drafts, too much draft, and especially wet. So really, your care at this age is pretty simple. You want to make sure that you have free feed in front of them all the time. So the way, if you're feeding in crocks or dishes like I am, what you want to look for is when you come in the morning to feed it, to see if there is some feed left. These were fed a few hours ago, so this is more than they will have left in here in the morning. I do check in the evening, especially when there are kits in cages, just to double check, make sure the water's keeping up, the feed's keeping up. If this was empty or close to empty at that time, I would top it off just to make sure they had enough to get through the night. They do have hay as well. You know, this is especially important. It's always important to feed your animals well, but it's especially important if it is cold. People have a lot of concerns about rabbits in the cold, and rabbits do really well in the cold as long as you're giving them what they need. One of the things they need to stay warm is food. Animals produce heat by eating and by digesting food. So those are all important things. So again, when you come in the morning, just make sure there's at least something left. They may act like they haven't eaten in days, but as long as you know that there's still some feed that was available to them and they just didn't choose to eat it, you know that they're just being excitable rabbits, not that they're really hungry, and certainly no one's starving. You are bound to have some size variation among your kits at this age, but keep an eye out and try to make sure that individuals don't look like they're stopping growing, or that they're skinny, or they look pushed out of feed and aren't getting enough. Those are the signs to look for. As long as everybody's growing at a good steady rate, the coats look good, that's all you need to do in these weeks. And then coming up on, say, weeks 5 and 6, you can start making your own decisions about when it's time to wean. We will have a separate article about that will go into more detail. This is a time to start thinking about it, and more importantly, you need to think about what are you going to do with them. Make sure you have cages for them to go into when it's time to wean. You know, you don't want to be stuck at the situation where they need to get out of the cage and, oh my God, there's nowhere for them to go. These are the things we need to think about and have planned ahead of time. So I hope that you'll join us over at meetrabbits.org for the full article, where we have more information. Again, questions, comments, always welcome. And you can also find more information there on weaning your kits, when, signs to look for, and how to do it. Thank you.